There is a quiet war being fought in every household. A war that has no bombs, no guns, and no soldiers. Yet, it has taken over millions of lives across the world. This war is not between countries, not between leaders, not even between ideologies. It is a war for your attention, a war for your time, and unfortunately, most people are losing without even realizing it. The enemy does not wear a uniform. The enemy is the glowing screen in your hand. Think back for a moment. Do you remember your first mobile phone? For many people, it was a simple device. It could make calls, maybe send a few text messages, and if you were lucky, it had the famous snake game. That was it. No internet, no social media, no endless distractions. And yet, at that time, we thought it was revolutionary. For the first time, you could call anyone at any time, no matter where you were. The world felt smaller, more connected, more accessible. It was magical, but magic often comes with a price. As technology grew smarter, so did the devices in our pockets. Phones stopped being just phones. They became cameras, music players, diaries, calculators, televisions, and eventually, windows to an endless digital universe. What once fit in our pockets as a tool now carries the power of 1,000 libraries, 1,000 theaters, 1,000 voices competing for our attention. And that is where the addiction began. At first, it seemed harmless. People would use their phones to check emails, send messages, maybe browse the internet. But soon, applications appeared: social media platforms, video sharing apps, games designed to never end. These apps weren't just built for utility, they were built for engagement. Their success depended not on how useful they were, but on how long they could keep your eyes glued to the screen. It worked. The world changed. Suddenly, people were no longer living in the same reality. They were living in two worlds at once: the real world around them, and the digital world inside their phones. And slowly, quietly, the balance shifted. The digital world began to feel more important, more exciting, more rewarding than the real one. Picture this. A child runs to his father, eager to show a drawing he made at school. The father, tired after a long day, is busy replying to emails on his phone. He nods distractedly, "That's nice," but never really looks up. The child walks away, disappointed, learning unconsciously that a glowing screen is more important than his effort. Multiply that scene by millions of families, every single day, and you start to understand the silent cost of this addiction. Or imagine a group of friends at a cafe. Instead of talking, laughing, and sharing stories, they sit together in silence, each one scrolling through their phones. The irony is brutal: they are physically together, but emotionally alone. And when they do talk, it's often about something they saw online, not about their own lives. Their reality has been replaced with a digital illusion. The addiction is so deep that people cannot even sit in silence anymore. Waiting in a line, sitting in a bus, even going to the bathroom, every free second is filled with scrolling, tapping, swiping. People cannot bear to be alone with their own thoughts. Silence feels unbearable because the brain has been trained to crave constant stimulation. Without it, they feel restless, anxious, even empty. But why is it so addictive? The answer lies in the brain. Every time you receive a notification, a like, a message, your brain releases a small dose of dopamine, a chemical that makes you feel good. It's the same chemical triggered by eating chocolate, hearing compliments, or winning a game. The more you get, the more you crave. But unlike chocolate or compliments, which come in moderation, notifications can come at any time, unlimited. The brain gets trapped in a loop: check the phone, get dopamine, feel good, repeat. This is exactly how slot machines and casinos work. And just like gambling, phone addiction becomes nearly impossible to control. The tragedy is that people mistake this artificial dopamine rush for happiness. They scroll endlessly, laugh at memes, watch funny videos, and feel entertained for a moment. But deep down, they are not satisfied. The happiness is temporary, leaving behind a void that makes them crave more. This cycle continues endlessly: temporary highs, followed by emptiness, followed by more scrolling. It is not happiness. it is dependence. And while we are trapped in this cycle, the world around us changes. Families grow distant, children grow up without deep conversations with their parents. Relationships weaken because couples spend more time on screens than with each other. Even self-respect takes a hit as people start measuring their worth in likes, followers, and views. A young girl may post a picture online, and if it doesn't get enough attention, she feels ugly, unloved, unwanted. A young boy may compare himself to influencers and feel inadequate, believing he is not strong, rich, or successful enough. The phone, which should have been a tool, becomes a mirror of insecurity. This addiction even follows us into our most private moments. People carry their phones to bed, scrolling until their eyes can no longer stay open. Sleep, once a natural rhythm of rest, is replaced by glowing screens late into the night. And when they wake up, the first thing they do is check their phones. Again, it is the last thing they see at night and the first thing they see in the morning. Not their partner, not their children, not the rising sun, but the screen. This is no longer a tool. This is a master. And the scariest part, children are watching. They see their parents addicted to phones, and they follow the same path. Parents hand over devices to keep children quiet, not realizing they are feeding the same cycle. A toddler, who should be learning to speak, play, and interact with the world, instead stares at a glowing screen for hours. Their brain, still developing, is shaped not by human interaction, but by flashing cartoons and advertisements. By the time they grow older, they are already hooked. Childhood becomes digital, and the innocence of growing up in the real world running. Falling, laughing, exploring is lost. We often think addiction means drugs, alcohol, or gambling. But addiction is simply when you lose control, when something outside yourself dictates your behavior. By that definition, millions are addicted to their phones. They cannot leave them behind. They cannot resist checking. They cannot imagine life without them. And like any addiction, it steals the most precious resource we have: time. Time that could have been spent with family. Time that could have been spent on passions, hobbies, or self-growth. Time that could have been spent simply being alive, present in the moment. Instead, it vanishes into the digital void, never to return. What's worse, this addiction is not accidental. It has been engineered. The brightest minds in the world, working in Silicon Valley and other tech hubs, spend years designing apps to be addictive. They know how the brain works. They know how to manipulate attention. They use colors, sounds, vibrations, and algorithms to make sure you cannot put the phone down. You are not the customer, you are the product. Your time, your attention, your data, that is what is being sold. And the cost is your peace of mind. When you put all of this together, you begin to see the bigger picture. This is not just a personal problem. It is a societal problem, a cultural problem, a generational problem. It is shaping the way children grow, the way families live, the way societies function. It is changing what it means to be human. And if we don't stop and ask ourselves where this road leads, we may end up in a future where human connection is a memory, where attention is currency, and where lives are lived more online than in reality.